recent events kind of suck ass. We've put a lot of work into building a fabrication center here, and a little bit of a setback with this DCA stuff, but they picked up a lot of the permits and everything today, so hopefully we might finally get approved for operating in this spot. You guys did really good work with this unit, and obviously the other units that were built so far, and they get better every single time. So
what does DCA stand for?
Department of Community Affairs. They're the ones that do the permits and everything here for the airport. So basically, this whole thing is about aviation. It always has been, and our flight school that was operational obviously went defunct, and everybody kind of bailed out of it and it collapsed, and it's nothing more kind of like a fire trap over there. So we've basically been given permission to gut all the internals out of there, starting pretty much immediately. And this is probably going to be my last build here at the airport. So I want to make it really cool, and I want it to be something that's going to last for a really long time. So basically, we have roughly a 50 by 50 plot that's been given to us, obviously with very high ceilings, and we're going to try and take advantage of it. So after much work, I put together this print, and we've got a lot of different things taking place here, because obviously the economics in play for a flight school have become quite difficult to remain profitable, stay open. So we had to build something that would have multiple cash registers in theory built into it. So we talked about the whole arcade concept, and we talked about the coffee shop concept. We talked about the fitness center concept, and ultimately there needs to be a training center where the flight school can be operating out of. So I started by basically doing the same concept that we always do, in which we gut everything out, bare walls, and we try and bring in more of the heavy industrial look. Obviously, the building itself is very old, and there are points where it may leak, and that may pose a problem in the future.
Where's the street?
So basically, we have our access road back behind here. We have basically our ramp area, which is situated here. We have the facility, which we just got done repairing and putting back together here. And basically the airport is based over here. So because of the whole water problem that has been ongoing here, what I thought we would do is kind of adapt the Home Depot Lowe's concept with polished concrete floor. I think that's something that we can all do, right?
Right.
Pretty cost effective. The premise itself in here with the white, the HRM branding, gray, ceilings, and bring the black on the metal work. We want to bring the metal work back to life, because obviously the people that built this a long time ago, they put a lot of hard work into this, and we should really showcase this in the design. So basically, when we talk about cash points and cash registers, when people come in through the main entrance, which is going to be on the airport side, so we know that we're going to have the fence that we put all that time and hard work into, and people are going to be basically entering through the fence, and that's basically, we got to kind of almost build a journey.
That's a new door opening on that side, right?
It's taking advantage of the previous door opening, but obviously we want to put a
6 foot.
Yeah, nice big open doors in that particular area. So the floor plan itself is actually designed to be operated pretty much by a staff of one during the downtime, which is really nice. And there's many points of sale actually taking place in the floor plan to justify at least one personnel on staff, because obviously when people come in for flight training or spur of the moment, they kind of roll in with the wind, and we have to be able to grab them at that particular time. So when they first come in, we have, we did a really awesome job with the desks that you guys built, and I found this picture that somebody actually spent some time building a desk that was kind of like the similar shape of what we had, but they put a lot of time into glass and opening it up. And when we think about merchandise and pilot supplies and that sort of thing, having an open floor plan obviously opens us up to theft, liability, people just wandering off the street and taking merchandise. So this allows us to have a very nice large display case with the supplies necessary for, basically a pilot to, not only a pilot that exists or a student pilot that's starting, and this is also the information desk where they're going to begin, their adventure. Now, one of the things that I took into consideration is that a lot of the people nowadays, yeah, pretty much. And we're going to flip through the different pictures as we go through the floor plan, so we'll just focus on this one right now. A lot of people are family, they have their kids, they have their wife, and a lot of pilots up until now, their family doesn't want to come up and sit at the airport. There's nothing to do. It's boring. It's not entertaining. And, we got to help to fix that. So the first thing that jumped into my mind was a coffee shop, something that was very easy to operate, not a lot of stuff going on, simple stuff. So I kind of built this bar area here, in which, obviously you have the information desk, you have the person behind the counter, and you have a space for, a nice coffee machine, soda dispenser that takes care of like the rudimentary soft drinks, that sort of thing. Nice bar top area for guys to sit along. And then we have 3 tables off to the side here with chairs, and obviously the table that I used to have that I'm going to bring in, the bar top tables, the ones that sit like this, can be expanded upon because, in certain times you need more area. There's a picture here, these guys, standing around, and this is kind of common in aviation. We get these really large charts that we got to open up and lay out, so the space can actually dub for in the event that somebody really has to go through the whole floor plan exercise. But back to the whole family concept of, basically it's boring at an airport. So in running,
not for us. Real quick question: are these? This whole area, is this 8-foot ceiling, or they're going all the way up?
We're going all the way up.
Okay.
Same
as the office.
Exactly.
It's going to be like a balcony on the other side kind of thing?
Well, I'll get into that. We got that going on, of course. We have an HVAC system, since we're talking about it, that's already installed. So when we actually get into the demolition, the first thing we got to do is get the drop ceiling out. And I understand that they put 1/2-inch plywood and built this stuff like Fort Knox over there, so we're going to have some fun demoing in there. But what I would like to do is see if we can suspend the heating unit. We obviously have more than enough equipment in here to do metal work, welding, et cetera, to get that unit situated. Obviously,
like metal ducts, is that what you're doing?
Yeah, the open trunk work.
Yeah.
And we got to make sure also, all the heat is going up towards the ceiling. So what we're going to do with that HVAC system is we're going to get like how on boats they have those open like vent pipes that you see that kind of bent over. We're going to make sure we get that on top of the unit so we can pull that hot air off and force it back down all through the trunk work. Yep. So.
You get them ceiling fans. Did you ever go into Dave & Buster's?
Yeah, I know.
They got them wicked looking things, and it's run by a belt through the whole one. That would look nice in there.
It really would, and that's something that I did think about doing because we have kind of like a Dave & Buster's concept taking place here because again it's about getting, the father's got to go flying or the mom's got to go flying and kids sitting around or they've got ground school, so hey.
PlayStation right there, what a big screen. There you go.
Not just a PlayStation. We've got a pool table, we've got an air hockey table, we've got arcade games that are going in the area, so now the kids have something to do. We have, basically an area with internet so people can sit down, they can, basically surf the web, whatever, while the respective parent member is doing whatever. Of course, we've also got somebody working bar area that can kind of supervise and make sure, the kids aren't hopping over the counter and lighting stuff on fire and stuff like that. So, we've got a revenue source so far of the pilot shop, we've got a revenue source of the coffee shop, we've got a revenue source of the arcade that's actually taking place.
What happens in the pilot shop?
So, pilot shop really isn't anything crazy. It's really more or less just vacant floor space that, you get that one-off sale every once in a while. Most people buy stuff off the internet nowadays. When they come to the pilot shop itself, they need to basically get like a chart or a map or a headset because they're in a pinch and they got to go. So we got to make sure that we have this.
So there's actually going to be merchandise in there.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Now, one of the things that's very important with a flight club.
Like a gift shop.
Yep, absolutely. One of the things that's really important is you got to have fly-ins. You got to get the traffic going. So what we've got situated here is in the event that we have, we can set up tables outside for the Sunday morning breakfast, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and you got to kind of move the line. So what we have is we're going to do an exterior exit here. Obviously, safety is important, in case anybody gets trapped. But if we have the tables and everything set up on the concrete pad outside, like the outdoor seating area, when people come in, they go through the doors, you pay, you pick up your plate, you've got the whole bar area, you've got the catered foods. We already talked to the Runway Cafe about being able to have them cater events and whatnot. All the food can be set up. We got an area for like a skillet, which would be nice because we're going to have like a hood kind of coming down where you cook eggs, pancakes, that sort of thing for the fly-in, and it's about just moving the line. So we have our next revenue source, obviously.
I have a question. Is that going to be, they're actually going to be cooking food in there?
Well,
or they're going to be ordering it to the runway and bringing it over?
Combination of both. So basically, we get into all health inspectors and all that crap, and we don't really want to be involved with it. It is a flight club, it is a private club. When you're hosting the fly-in, you are doing cooking at that particular time. It's not really so much up for inspection, and that's where that skillet comes in. It also allows for private occasions. We have the vineyard, and obviously we need a way to get the wine out there and promote. And so this will also allow for the promotion of those events. Once again, another revenue source. So this is kind of more to the open concept of the regular traffic coming in off of the street. But when we talk about a flight club, which is what we started in the first place in flight school, that's really ultimately what it's about. Now, most flight clubs charge membership fees anywhere from $30 to $50 a month. And what is that really getting you? It's getting you the potential of renting a plane for less. That's really it. And obviously right now with the economic times, it's very difficult to kind of part with that cash. So in trying to keep with getting the traffic through, focusing in on the morning routine, we came up with the thought of, hey, you know what, people are already spending 30, 40, even 50 bucks for a gym membership. Why not cancel your gym membership or put the fitness equipment in? And that's what we have taking place in this particular area here. Just simple equipment, nothing too fancy. We have the 2 bathrooms, which we'll redo, we'll get them set up. We're going to convert these 2 bathrooms though to like the full shower type bathroom, like the whole thing is all encompassing. It's temporary. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to expand outwards and build something a little bit nicer. We did talk about a hot tub and stuff like that, which it would be nice. But again, now we're starting to establish our traffic in, and we're starting to get our membership fees, et cetera, and then it comes down to the ground school itself. Now, up until now, the ground schools are like an open, vacant classroom that get utilized once a week. So I said, what is something that we can design that is cool, that will get people's attention, that will, make them say, hey, I want to go there. At the same time, assistant aviation, in aviation, especially in the military, they've always had like the ready room. It's an area which is almost like a theater. With technology changing, with people getting away from books and multimedia becoming the new thing, the ready room allows for us to actually build a theater. Which, yes, now we can run the ground. Yes, we can host, these events like a movie night, that sort of thing. Yes, the new programs that are coming out from Jefferson, which are on DVD and all that stuff, which are all interactive, can play in this particular theater. And so, I wanted to bring in the inspiration of aviation, and I believe this is from the Intrepid. This is what a traditional pilot ready room debrief